was appropriate to hold this press conference in order to give an update to everybody on the work that the School Security Working Group has done over the past year. I think it's important to point out when we started this group, we wanted to make sure that for school security, it was truly a holistic approach to this. I mean, we looked at it in a good analogy, I think, is a three-legged chair. Unless you look at the educational component, the social and emotional component, and the hardening component, you really don't have a solid base to work from. So I think we took all those aspects that came before us in this committee and heard the testimony and listened to the stakeholders that came before us. I think one thing that I think we'll all agree on is the funding component was the biggest complaint from the actual stakeholders in the district. So we all know as we move through the budget process that funding is always an issue. And that was the biggest complaint we were finding from the district. So I can speak for myself on this one. I personally would like to see a line item funding mechanism for school security.
First of all, I want to thank Representative Paul for really initiating this work group. It's been very valuable, very educational for us as legislators so that we can be better legislators for the state of Connecticut and the children in our state. The shooting in Parkland, Florida was yet another horrific reminder that we need to leave no stone unturned when we evaluate the security measures in place to protect our children, our students, and the staff. In fact, in addition to the Parkland shooting in 2018 in the U.S., we saw 25 incidents that involved gun violence. That's the highest number of incidents since 1999. Our children spend over 1,000 hours a year in school, and not one of those minutes should be spent in fear of their lives. Following the most horrific tragedy in our own state, the Sandy Hook in 2012, strong legislation was implemented in 2013, and the Sandy Hook Advisory Commission was developed. It was convened and it conducted significant work and made recommendations around the areas of school design, public safety and emergency response, and around mental health. The commission concluded in 2015, and we felt that now that the legislation was on the books for a few years, and the commission had concluded it was a good time for us to regroup and take an opportunity to reevaluate that legislation and talk to all the stakeholders to understand what we can maybe do better going forward and what legislation might have been missed that we can take a look at. We want to be clear, this wasn't an all-encompassing committee. We recognize that there is more work to be done, and we are in discussions about what work we will be doing forward and how we proceed going forward.
When we convened this working group in April of 2018, we set out to answer the question, is the state of Connecticut doing everything possible to keep its students safe at school? Overall, I feel that Connecticut is doing a good job, but there are areas for improvement, and one of the areas for improvement is more consistency across school districts. Some of our bills attempt to address areas where we see that need for improvement. One, for example, is House Bill 6958. It's an act concerning regional exercises on emergency response. This would require a joint regional exercise on responding to major emergencies to be held by the state of Connecticut at least once every 2 years. House Bill 6383 is an act concerning the Registry of School Security Consultants. This would require DESP to develop criteria for vetting and approving school security consultants before placing such consultants on a registry. We heard from a lot of school districts that said they wanted to have their schools evaluated, but the waiting list was too long and they had no idea who was qualified to actually do some of these studies. We feel that a registry, a list of approved vendors would be appropriate for the state to vet and then have school districts choose from. House Bill 6768 is an act concerning school security and safety plans of local and regional boards of education, and this would ask DESP to streamline the process of these security plans. We heard from many school districts that said some of these plans that were over 200 pages long required a lot of administration, a lot of work, and could be made simpler. So we've asked DESP to re-examine it, look at streamlining it. Obviously, it's a complex task in and of itself. However, we feel that there could be some area of improvement there to try to get it streamlined for better ease and better access.
I don't think there's anyone more, excuse me, in this building that appreciates the work of this committee and this task force. Having worked in law enforcement for 25 years, particularly being an SRO for 15 years, I see firsthand the importance, and know firsthand the importance of the issues that we're trying to address here. It's unfortunate that we see throughout the country these continued acts of violence in our schools. Schools should be a playground to have fun and enjoy, not a playground for violence. And I support the bills that were mentioned here today, and I'm going to do my best to shepherd these bills through the legislature so that they are enacted. Again, I just appreciate all the work of the members behind me and those who participated in the task force. Thank you.